Welcome, everyone, back to another episode of Combating Cancer. My name is Gwen Kelly, and I'm your host. If this is your first time tuning in, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and being a part of this community. For my first-time listeners here, a little bit of background information about me is that I was diagnosed with stage 3 astrocytoma brain cancer at the age of 19, and the reason why I created this platform is because I wanted to have a safe and honest space for those either in active treatment, in remission, grieving the loss of a loved one, or just want to come on and learn more about cancer because cancer is a terrible disease and no one should have to fight alone. So today I have an amazing guest. I have Jack Forrey. Hi, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I have to apologize. You reached out to me on Facebook Messenger and I am so bad at responding. It's embarrassing.
I mean, that's kind of expected with the Facebook Messenger, It's always hit or miss.
No, I tell you, when I first started combating cancer and I made a Facebook account, I felt so old because I could not figure it out. And I was like, I don't know how my parents are just experts at this. It was very embarrassing for me.
Kind of a generational thing.
Then all of a sudden I look at the top corner and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I have messages. It doesn't just pop up.
It's weird how different apps work, but yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very excited you're on today. So for anyone tuning in, Jack is actually a cancer survivor, but we're not going to go into that part of the story yet. We're going to keep you guys guessing. But today we're going to be talking about Camp Enchantment. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that program is?
Yeah. Actually, it's the best organization in the world. Before I get 100% into Camp Enchantment, I kind of want to get into cancer camps in general. One thing that I loved about my life post-treatment was actually being able to attend some of these summer camps for cancer survivors. Now, having had cancer at a pretty young age, I've kind of been going to these my whole life. I believe the first time I went to a camp like this was probably 7 or 8. There's something about these camps where I'm sure you can probably relate to this, Gwen, but just the feeling of the transition from being in treatment to no longer being in treatment, it's very isolating, kind of lonely. You have this whole care team where you're their main focus for so long. And then all of a sudden you're good and you no longer have your care team and people kind of stop checking in on you as much because they know you're okay. And it's you can feel really lonely. And I think one thing that really helped me and has helped a lot of my friends who have been in similar positions has been summer camps like this. I think the first one I went to was called Camp Courage. It's actually in Minnesota. I don't know if it's still there anymore. Pretty sure I aged out a decade ago. Kind of aging myself here.
Don't tell everyone. Jeez.
How embarrassing. Oh, goodness. I also found other camps like Camp Make a Dream in Montana, where they actually have camps dedicated to adults who are cancer survivors or patients. They actually have weeks dedicated entirely to brain tumor survivors. I mean, all of these are very, very unique organizations. It kind of captures the fun of summer camp, but also the gravity of what we've all been through. And it treats it with such grace and love. It's really hard to explain it to people who haven't attended these.
I remember when you first messaged me and you sent me information about the camps, I had no idea that these even existed. I was like, wow, no one really talks about this. And I remember I texted you and I was like, we need to spread the word on this because there are so many people that I know firsthand and even myself that would benefit from going through that. I always say when you're done with treatment, it's kind of like they kick you out of the nest and they're learn to fly and you don't have the 24/7 care team. If, all of a sudden I'm having chest pain and I think my cancer's back or something, but it's really not, it's just stress induced. And then you don't know what to do. It's true. It is very isolating. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of cancer survivors don't talk about is the transition after treatment to real life again.
Yeah. Gonna give you guys a little peek into, a little bit of my story. I've made that transition several times and it does not get easier. It's weird, having that experience and trying to mentally prepare for it. There's really no way to mentally prepare for it. But, I attended these camps and I met a lot of people in very similar situations as me. And you build that sense of community again that you had when you were sick, but in a much less crappy way.
Yep.
Because you're not sick all the time. You go, just have all the fun, and you make so many friends, and it's such a great time. I want to talk about Camp Enchantment. I love it. It's my favorite camp that I've ever been to. It's in New Mexico, actually. And funny story is, like, it had been a few years when I decided to go to Camp Enchantment. I just beaten cancer for the last time. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. And I never really thought that I would go back to another camp. And then actually, two of my campers had passed away, and I wanted to do something in honor of them. Like, I was kind of searching for other camps to work at, but I didn't really make a decision. And all of a sudden, I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw like this ad for Camp Enchantment. And I was like, you know what? I'll fill out the application. And I did. Got an email back immediately from my boss at the time. Her name was Jane. She emailed me. She's like, hey, do you want to have an interview with me tomorrow? I was like, yeah, sure. Had the interview. Basically, it went really well. And then at the end of it, she's like, well, camp is next week. Is that going to work for you? I was like, sure.
Pack your bag.
Yeah. I bought my ticket like within 20 minutes of that interview ending. And I went to camp for the first time, and it was an amazing experience. I guess fast forward 5 years now. I go back every summer. Just got promoted this year. I'm their program coordinator.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's really one of the best things that I've ever done with my life. I love it so much.
So can you walk us through kind of what the process is at this camp, not only for yourself as a volunteer, but just how do the kids get to experience, are they in cancer treatment still? Are they in remission? What transitional phase are they at in their life?
This camp is dedicated to serving children affected by cancer survivors. There are a couple cancer patients as well, like children actively going through treatment. We also allow for first year campers to bring a buddy as well, because they might be shy. It might be difficult leaving the nest a little bit to go to the summer camp and be surrounded by strangers. This year, we're actually allowing 30 children who are actually siblings of cancer survivors to attend. Because I think that's a very overlooked group of kids in the cancer community. Because it's never just a patient, it's a community. And to be a sibling of someone with cancer, it can be very isolating. And I've had campers before say it's like constant middle child syndrome. And because, obviously parents, their main focus is the well-being of their sick child. And then even the siblings, that's their concerns as well. They want to take care of their sick sibling. And it's really cool that we get to do this and kind of take care of these children who have often been overlooked in their personal life. And we get to give them a week that they'll hopefully remember.
Would you also say that it's therapeutic for you to see kids that were going through things similar ages as you and be a mentor for them and give them advice you wish you would have had?
Yeah, it's incredibly therapeutic. Kind of makes, everything I went through not for nothing. And it's nice being able to turn that into something useful for other people.
I also liked what you said about having the siblings be involved, because I feel like the more people I talk about and talk with, they kind of share how their siblings' experiences were. But I think when you're the person that has cancer going through it, you kind of don't really think about your siblings' emotions, rather than just being like, hey, I want to protect them. I want to see them strong. I don't want them to worry, but regardless, they're family and they're going to worry. So I think that's really cool that they're starting to be able to acclimate them within the program as well, because I'm sure it's nice to see their siblings having fun and almost having a sense of normalcy while they're going through this process.
It's definitely something that I think deserves more attention, to being siblings of someone like that. There's a camp motto, love camp, hate cancer. And I feel like siblings especially can kind of fit in that group along with their, patient siblings. It can be such a devastating thing for a whole family. Having spoken with many, many people throughout my time about the experiences, like I always tell them, like, I would rather be the person in the bed than the person next to the bed. When you're there and you're watching someone you love go through all that, I don't think you can feel any more helpless than you do in that moment. Yeah. The siblings, they obviously know what that's like firsthand.
For the people that are interested about joining these camps, can you walk through what type of activities that you do there and just some of the bonding and everything so people get a real understanding from someone that's volunteered there as a perspective of what's going to happen rather than just reading it on a website?
We have an art cabin where people can work on arts and crafts. We also have Legos in there. It's a lot of fun. We have a gymnasium with, a lot of like footballs, basketball hoops and whatnot. We're working on bringing archery to camp. It's kind of a project every year because we got to bring people in to bring the gear and kind of supervise us. We got a pool, a courtyard where we can have like bonfires, and we have campfire songs, things like that. It's a lot of fun. We have the campers broken up in groups based on gender and age. 7 to 17 is the age of campers that we allow. We have younger teens and older teens. So we have a few cabins. I believe we had about 70 campers.
If someone was like, hey, why should I go to this camp? What is the biggest thing you'd say to them?
Because it's the best thing you could ever do. Like, this camp, more so than any other camp I've been to, has delivered that sense of family and community and support year after year after year. And we have some amazing staff who just work their butts off trying to make this the best week for these kids as they can. And yeah, for those interested in becoming a staff member there, highly recommend it. It can be a lot of work and it can be very exhausting. There's been years where you basically get woken up every night because, there's a camper who has some things that they need to do. There's certain health issues that have to be taken care of and things like that. But, despite the lack of sleep and despite the exhaustion, it is 100% worth it. I always try to be the first person awake and the last person to sleep. I can catch up on sleep once camp is over, but, I wanted to make sure that the campers know I'm there for them and that, if there's anything wrong, I will be there at all times. But even then, FOMO, I just don't want to miss out on anything.
Well, I just think it's so positive, the fact that you're able to go and do this. And, from being an attendee at camps yourself to now volunteering, I think it's such a huge impact that you're there to represent that there is life after cancer. And I think it's such an inspiration to all the kids there to be like, I can make it out on the other side. And just that you have such a positive light to you.
Thank you, Gwen.
So before we wrap up, I just want to know if there's any extra things you want to add, words of encouragement to even just anyone going through something right now, what you wish you would have had.
Whether you're going through cancer right now or if you've already beaten it, you never really have to be alone. There's always people who love to talk about this stuff, whether that be me or anyone that I've worked with, whether that be other survivors or just people who care. This camp, as well as many of the other camps, have shown me like there's always someone to talk to. There's always someone who supports you. And yeah, it's really such an amazing community. And also, if anyone's interested, staff applications just opened up for camp.
I'll make sure I link everything down below, but I just want to thank you once again for coming on, and I look forward to recording your own individual story coming up here soon. But that is the end of today's episode of Combating Cancer. As always, please feel free to share this message to anyone who you think might need it and also wants to attend this camp. It sounds like an amazing opportunity and very life-changing. If you or someone you know want to come on and share your story, or you have a business inquiry that aligns with our mission, please feel free to reach out to me. That is the end, guys, and I will chat with you all next Wednesday.